All right, today we're going to talk with Boilon about all kinds of fun things that are affecting free-to-play players, specifically all these new events, the new Magic event being different than the events we've had in the past. And how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Before we get started, I just want to say I really appreciate your content you've been putting out in your spreadsheets, especially when it comes to events and calculating how events play out. It's a huge help to the community, and I'm going to say thank you for that. I know you've been having fun doing it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I want to talk about three things in this video today. I want to talk about the Magic event being only 150 character shards and how that relates to Blitz release characters, Shang-Chi, Lady Deathstrike, the Icarus event, all of that. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about this sneaky post inside of the last Friday's blog post where they mention stocking up on gold to use your training modules for Fresh Horizons event with the payday event. Boys, but that was sneaky. You know what I'm talking about. You got to pay attention to this because this was super sneaky. And then lastly, I want to talk about your experience with the Thanosgiving event. How does that sound?
Sounds awesome. Let's get to it.
Okay, first things first. This recently we have Magic event, and they've really changed the store, right? We've had so many different events using the store, and they've changed the store, and it's kind of devolved into something that it was. Like it was probably one of the most well-received store events right when it first came out, and then now it's kind of turned into a disaster. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I think things have changed a little bit as well since the very first event store. I mean, we have teal gear now. I mean, we didn't have that when Shang-Chi came out. So I guess the contents of the store were a bit different as well. Even though Shang-Chi didn't have shards, I don't know. I guess it was just mainly orange gear at that time. So things have changed a little bit more.
Yeah, and so you were able to. You were talking about this a little bit before we started the stream. You were able to get 180 shards from Shang-Chi, right? And
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, however you say it, I never can say it right. But destroyer of names. And Sean, they would just call him Sean, is what people tell me to do. So, but then they added. Then the Lady Deathstrike event came out, right? And that was probably too good to be true, or because the contrast between that and the Icarus event was pretty drastic. And now we have the Magic event, and there's no character shards in it. It seems like they're trying to fine tune this. Do you think they're headed in the right direction?
Well, I mean, it's a bit concerning, of course, going from 180 to 150 shards, if you compare anyways just Shang-Chi and Magic. I did a calculation, actually. My original video actually went and talked about if she was in the store, based on the currency that we got across the event, how high could we get her? And it was actually well over a 5-star free-to-play. So clearly that, it was too good to be true, and that's why we never got it. Because, if my numbers were right, then, nobody would have had to spend. Because it would have been almost like halfway to 6-star. Like, that's how high you could have got her if she was in the store.
All right, so do you think they're getting stingier? Because we were, like there's a lot of things, like you said, 180 before in the Shang-Chi, and then now Magic's 150. Blitzing, what do you expect to get on blitzing for yourself personally? Like if we're gonna have a blitz event, because blitz is kind of like baseline, right?
Yeah, well, we have Ghost Spider coming up with the blitz. I hope to get 1% there, but of course, that's a lot of effort for me, and not everyone can do that. You have to really keep up with the TCP in order to get that kind of score. But for average players, I would say average players who care are probably about 45, 55 shard payouts for those.
Yeah,
I would say.
And then you get 21 from doing the log, doing the milestones, and then you multiply that by 2. Have they announced if they're going to we don't even know if they're going to be 2 of them, because they really changed things around with cloak or dagger. Not cloak and dagger, cloak or dagger, right? We had to choose between one or the other, and that was kind of a disaster where it basically was, 2 blitzes for 2 characters as opposed to 4 blitzes for 2 characters, or 2 blitzes for 1 character, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that there's still going to be 2, but I mean, who knows, right? It's Scopely, and things get changed at the drop of a hat. So
yeah, I think this is the reason why I wanted to make this video. Is 2 reasons. Is that we're going to have this level up event for Scarlet Spider. I was really frustrated with the Thanosgiving event, and we see this direction where they're giving out less and less shards per character release. Specifically even with the Strike Pass release is not that great for free-to-play players. And I got to mention that you're like a 16 million collection power player, and you barely ever spend, right? That's my understanding, is you barely ever spend. Like you told me that you it was hard, you held on to that $5 for that $5 orb, to get the
Yeah, I really want. It was more for the costume than the gold. Actually, for whatever reason, I just really wanted that costume. I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about the black and gold costume from No Way Home. All right, and so I think this is something to be worried about, if especially if they only do one Blitz release for Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider. I think that the game's headed in a bad direction. Now, something else that they've done. Do you remember the last time that they did a level up event? It was a long time ago, right?
Did they have one? I actually can't remember, but I know they had a gold spend. Emma Frost, right? But did they ever have a training mod one? Because I don't remember that.
I don't remember. So this was. I got to give a shout out to Tana, because I would have missed this if I hadn't been for Tana's video, where he actually went into the data mine and found out that Fresh Horizons event is for Scarlet Spider, and then in this one little tiny sneaky line in a 1,000-word blog post. I don't know how many words it is, but it's a lot of words. It says, stock up on gold to use with your training modules for the Fresh Horizons event. So they're saying that somehow the event that for what does that mean to you? It's still super vague, but basically they're saying that spending gold and training modules, which means leveling up characters, right, is going to have something to do with how Scarlet Spider. Now, I got to tell you what I did when I saw this information. I stopped leveling up Spider-Gwen immediately. I took her to level 60, and now I wish I would have left her at level 1. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I did, and I put out a video actually this morning, basically like, maybe you should hold off. And I said, this is what I'm doing, because I don't have a lot of characters. I don't know about you. I don't have a lot of characters that I actively want to level up. So if I'm forced to do so, then hold on to the ones that you do want to level up for this event.
I might have to level up my Ravagers after all.
Yeah. So,
I was not really thrilled with the Ravager rework. I mean, I think it's fine, but it wasn't compelling enough for me to go deep on them, right?
Well, there's no T'Challa yet, too. So I mean, we're kind of a month off, probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so again, stock up on gold. So basically, 3 things: save gold, save training modules, and potentially save characters that you want to upgrade for this event, which starts on December 24th. So that's not that far away, right?
Actually, I'm not sure.
That doesn't even mean that.
That's the payday. That's the payday event.
That doesn't even mean this is a cluster of a sentence, isn't it?
So payday's 24th.
Okay.
But I think the Fresh Horizons is January the 6th. We don't know that because it was in a data mine. But the data mine said the Fresh Horizons was going to be January the 6th. I'm pretty sure it's that
Okay,
date.
January 6th, which will be a Thursday.
Yeah.
After the first year.
So 2 weeks-ish.
2.5 weeks. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I can't see it on the screen there, but yeah, we're a bit far out. Okay. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the Thanosgiving event with you, and I did a video recently with Taco Shooter, who was a heavy spender, and that event actually crushed his spending. He was spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and now he's dropped his spending down to basically just new character releases and getting them to 5 stars. So somewhere between $200 and $500. I mean, he was wailing, getting every character to 7 stars right away, upgrading them as quickly as possible. Now, none of that. Now, so how did? Let's talk about the free to play experience with Thanksgiving, the Thanosgiving, because after talking to him, there was a very specific reason why it felt bad to him. But I think the experience for me was different, and the reason why I want to talk to you is I think the experience for you was different as well. Go ahead and talk about the Thanosgiving event.
I mean, from a less spending approach, I didn't really feel compelled to buy any of these offers that appeared. There's a lot of these offers that had the Thanosgiving orbs and things like that. I mean, for me, I didn't feel the value was even close to compelling enough to buy them. We all know that, that and the Black Friday offers were not particularly good this year, so there wasn't really a lot of reason to do that. But I think what would have been nice was a little bit more transparency around the event itself. Some expectations that could have been set. Of course, seeing the orb in advance would have been great. that was giving orb, but that's a different thing.
Seeing the orb in advance and knowing whether or not it, the ratio, it was 10,000 to 1. 10,000. We had no No
Right.
word on
Yeah.
the. I mean, they did sneak in that the orb was going to have small rewards, and that wasn't the main part of the event, but they didn't suggest that it was like pure garbage. And
Basic orb fragments. I've never. That's awful. Awful. Not even premium orb fragments is basic orb fragments. Like what? Why you get these for free daily? Like it just
yeah,
made no sense.
yeah, and I know, and we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. That, I'm pretty sure Scopely felt like, well, the point of the event was the milestones, not those orbs, and we didn't think you would be spending money just to get the orbs, but people were in fact buying offers that had orbs in them, those orb fragments, right? Which we had no disclosure on what the orbs were or what the ratio is to get one orb. It ended up being 10,000, which is way under.
Yeah.
I think the expectation was 2,000 because that's typically, other than like elite orbs are 5,000, right? But everything else is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything else is 2,000.
I think everyone assumed it was going to be 2,000. So I don't know if that would have made a difference anyways because they were so garbage. But still though, it would have been nice.
They could have doubled those orbs. It would have made no difference to me whatsoever, right? It was double the garbage, right? I mean, it was like, oh my god.
That would have been 5 times the amount of Thanosgiving orbs you'd had to open one by one.
Well, that's what Taco Shooter ended. He didn't even up opening the last 75. He just let him sit there in his account. He said they're so terrible. What am I going to do with those, right? What are you going to do with basic orbs? Anyways, yeah. I think that the main thing is there's no disclosure, right? Basically, we didn't know what the orbs were. We didn't know how bad they were. People were actually spending real money getting those because those were a part of the offers. Whether or not they want to say that it wasn't the main point of the event or not, it doesn't really matter. People were spending money on offers that included those fragments, right? And they didn't know what they were buying. They're buying it blind. No disclosure was made until Thursday. How is that? I mean, that's not the way this game works. I mean, we usually have disclosure on everything.
This was, in my opinion, from that perspective, that was probably the part that I really hated the most was around the orb. Whether you're a spender or not, because we still, even non-spenders got, I don't know, I think I opened 76 of them. It was a pain in the ass anyways, but...
it was not very fun to open them, right? It was just like, it took forever.
But I didn't know it beforehand anyways. Maybe, if I don't know, it was terrible, but maybe if it was better... Maybe I would have spent a little bit, but I didn't know that, right? So I'm not going to buy into something, especially as a light spender. I'm not going to buy into something I don't know what's there.
Yeah, and then the worst part about it too was that there was no real Black Friday deals, and I went back and looked at my offer review from last year, and I rarely will buy one offer a day or even one offer every other day. There were 4 offers on Black Friday that were compelling enough to buy, and there was nothing. Like very little to nothing on this Black Friday. It almost felt like somebody over there was like sabotaging Thanksgiving this whole quarter. Maybe they were like, yeah, this quarter's over. My boss quit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get bonus no matter what. So I might as well make it terrible so my numbers will look good next year. It almost feels like, I mean, I'm that's tinfoil hat. I mean, I have no way of knowing that, but it kind of felt like something really weird. Like somebody deliberately was doing something to make it bad.
I mean, you would have thought that the numbers, like sales numbers, would have gone up for Black Friday. I mean, I checked Sensor Tower, between October and November, and it didn't move, actually. It was pretty much the same.
Really? So, October and November were the same on Sensor Tower?
It was basically identical for money made. So I would have expected for them to make more on Black Friday, but it just wasn't really any good deals. Spenders I know didn't spend, and it was...
Yeah,
I think it was garbage.
I mean, I have no way of knowing, but it feels like somebody is like setting up next year's bonus based off of this year's numbers. Like they just sabotaged it because it's like either they were going to get bonus no matter what, or they weren't going to get bonus no matter what, so they might as well set it up for next year. It just feels that way. All right, anything you want to say before we go?
That the Thanos, hopefully we get some better events or some better offers for those who spend, because this hasn't been very good lately, in my opinion.
Yeah, Scopely, 2 things, man. If the Scarlet Spider event is garbage, I mean, we really need some home runs right now, right? Not a garbage event that is super stingy. And also, secondly, if there's only one Ghost Spider Blitz, that's straight up trash. That's straight up
Absolutely.
trash. So, all right, link to Boyon's channel will be in the description. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming.